Everyone, this video is going to be a little bit choppy because I'm doing things in between recording. But right now I've got a bunch of stuff that's been delivered to the house that I'm going to unpack for the studio. Some of it will take a little bit of effort to put together, some of it is just kind of like stock stuff. So on the top here I've got very small kind of cardboard envelopes for sending things to people, although I went for the cheapest option, but I thought they would be bigger, so I didn't read the size measurements. So I've got like the smallest possible things. So maybe for a laugh, again, I'll put some doodles in here and maybe do like a little giveaway or something, just to use them up. So this will need to be added to the stock section, which is somewhere over here. So at the moment, if you look at my glorious mess, this temporary fold out table is currently holding on to a large collection of notebooks, unused new pens, scrap notes, and over here things to sell. Down here, active notebooks, space for a monitor for a computer to manage like shipping and things like that. And then behind there, there's actual physical equipment, so like a drill, airbrush, extractor fan, solder, that kind of thing. Now what I'm thinking about doing is getting some kind of shelving, like a very thin, like I don't want it to come out too far into the studio, but a little bit of shelving with some like squares in between, so if I'm like sitting on the far side, I can then pass something through the square like a shelf, which the shipping me could access, if that makes sense. And it would also take up, you know, some of the junk currently on the table. So that's something I might do. For now though, this kind of stuff just has to live in the junk space. What have I got next? Is this, no, that's the printer. Oh, this is also for the printer. So I hate printers. Everyone hates printers. Well, I love what they can do. I love printing things into physical space, but the companies that have the most popular printers are very predatory in the way that ink prices are extortionate. And then for things like the HP printers, when you install an ink cartridge, it tries to run like a test page. Do you know about this? Where it will print out a test page that just tries to use up as much ink as possible to like drain your levels. And then they've got like all these anti-forgery codes on them and stuff. And I think some of them expire after a certain amount of time. And all of that is just a rubbish drain of money. So I wanted to try a different way of doing printing through the thermal printer. So a lot of people use thermal printing for shipping labels and stuff. So as far as I know, there's no ink required because it's just applying heat to the page. The only difference is instead of having ink, you need to get a very specific type of paper. So it needs to be the right dimension to go through the printer, and it also needs to be thermal paper. But from my reckoning, from looking at it, it's cheaper than printer ink. So why not? So here's a stack of, how many have I got here? Is it like 500 pages? 500 pages of thermal paper. Some of you out there might know a lot more about this than I do, but I figured I'd give it a try. So I guess technically this is stock, so that's going to go with the other stuff. So what do I got here? It's, you know, I mean, I didn't do too much research into this. It's just an experiment. So this is a Nelco one. Nelco. All right, in here, manual, and I see a USB to USB-C, a little port in there. Maybe I'll need to read up on that. Looks like they've got an app of some kind, so that'd be if you're sending stuff to the printer from the phone. I wonder if that's how you have to do it, whether I can do it on the computer as well. Again, I didn't do too much research. This is my approach to things, is sometimes just get something, dive in, you'll learn something. Not all the time, like if it's something like a monitor, for example, I do a lot more research on that because that's kind of more appropriate, you know? But for something like this, even if it doesn't fulfill all of my needs, I'll probably still find a use for it. It'd be like how my old printer, my HP one that I hate, it's still got a scanner on it. And one thing I find amazing scanning things in with that is that HP are not charging me per scan. So it will forever be useful as a scanner, which is great, until they find a way to like retroactively change the firmware. So maybe I need to keep it disconnected from the internet forever from now on. All right, so be gone, foam. Nah, I'm not really that messy, he says. So look, here we go. Nelco, very small thermal printer. Oh, I love the design of that, because black and blue is one of my favorite color combos. Maybe not the one that everyone knows before. Blue and purple. Blue and purple, black and blue, black and gold, red and blue, orange and black as well. Pale blues. There are very specific combos I like. So paper goes in here, I imagine, and I believe that the type of paper I got, it's folded up in a way where it auto enters the printer, I think. So I will need to read up how to use this. Again, in the last video, I spoke about like resourcefully recycling hoarding material. If I looked at a box like this is the kind of thing I would recycle, in the way that I would cut off like the wings here. And when I just look at a surface like this, I think this is perfect for graffiti with artwork. And then I could stick this onto like a collage or something. So I have like a box, quite a compressed box full of stuff like this. So I would take things like this to where I'm working, like my digital desk. I'd have like a little pile. I just brought a little, what do I call that? Like a little trolley down. So I may put some of these raw materials on the trolley. So as I'm getting bored at the computer doing things, maybe some like low intensity work, I would just doodle on some of these raw things I have and then take that to the physical space ready to be compiled into something more interesting. So in the spirit of doing that, Also, I can reuse these bags. I have a section where I take bags like this and I put them all together. They are compressed down, and once they're like fully compressed, they take up like no space whatsoever. You never know when you need a bag to carry something or put something in, especially for like bits and bobs like bolts, nuts and bolts, drill bits, cables for computers, adapters that you want to keep together, all sorts of stuff like that. So I've got an equipment cabinet behind my head there, and then in the bottom right of that is where I'm storing stuff like that. So I look at things like this and I think, okay, good stuff we can recycle. I will never have to buy bags like this just to store random things. However, foam, I look at that and I think I don't have much use for foam, so that'll probably be chucked. In the spirit of the recycling, for now, I won't chop it up yet. I'm going to put this on the physical space as a reminder to tear it apart, but I'll probably do that after I know that the printer works, in case I need to return it or something. What else do I have here? I've got a spare audio cable. Can't remember the size, like 2 point something to 3 point something millimeter for my Bose headphones. I always like having a backup one because oftentimes these cables fail as you're like moving around quite a lot with the headphones, and so I always have one on backup. I'm gonna probably put that over the digital side, and some earplugs, not really related to the studio, for like sleeping and swimming and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put both of these over there. All right, what next? We got a couple of interesting things. Yes, okay, one sec. Where's my scissors? So in the last video I mentioned, vitamin and mineral stuff. One thing I want to do is, because a lot of my supplements are too big, like if I want to effectively microdose things like thiamine and riboflavin for nerve regrowth and maladaptation symptoms, the tablets you get are quite hefty in terms of dosage, not very pleasant on the stomach sometimes, especially on an empty stomach. I mean, the thiamine tablets are freaking huge, and I've got it wrapped up in this bag because if you don't know, thiamine kind of has this like ammonia, urine, meaty smell, but it's really good for nerve growth. But the tablets are kind of massive. These are 500 mg. So what I wanted to do was manually break them apart. If you think about it, it's quite economical in a way, because if you've got like, say, 100 tablets or something, and if you split them into a fifth of the size, then all of a sudden you've got 500 tablets. And oftentimes I think when it comes to things like supplements, having a lower dose over a longer period of time rather than heavy doses intermittently makes more of a difference. I suppose it depends on the type. But anyway, on that point, I got some plastic, like Tupperware-like snap boxes here, so that for each of the types that I turn into smaller doses, I can keep them in here, and they'll be sealed so that bugs don't get in them and stuff like that. So that is for lab and medical corner. Very good. Oh, and once again, the cardboard box I will find a way to recycle. And I've got food coming soon, so I'll need to take a little break. But next up is a universal tripod stand, and the reason for this is because I like the idea of being able to move a lightweight recording setup, possibly this one, around the studio. So instead of keeping you in one spot, I can move you around for some dynamicism. Is that a word? But I'll do that in a little bit. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. From Prop View, or View, Universal Tripod Stand. So people typically use this for projectors, so it doesn't have wheels on it, but I just wanted something that was easy enough to carry around. A bit like, what do you call them? Like the medical vertical trolley things you can move around that have like IVs and stuff on them. A bit like that, but just so I could have a platform of some kind with a small computer like this laptop that I could attach like a movable camera to or something. And if I don't end up using it for that, then for any other possible purpose, it's even got a little section for a power pack if needed. And I quite like the branding on this. Always appreciate some good branding. Elevate your experience. I like that as well. Text on the inside, QR code, a bit of info. I think they really did a good job with the branding on this. Look at that as well. They probably got some kind of graphics designer to do the instructions. Very nice. All right, so what's included? We get a foldable tray, non-slip foam mat, safety straps, nuts, screws, tools, cable clips, table base, tripod stuff, carry bag, all enough. All right, unlock the tripod, split it open, lock it again, little lock pin. All right, let's take a look. Carry bag. Oh, it's all numbered. Okay. Oh god, that feels like a really good quality. Hang on, how much did this cost? Is there a problem that I don't remember the cost off the top of my head? £46. Color me surprised so far. Nicely painted, nice texture as well. Again, good job with the branding, bit painted on there. And then that would be to lock the mechanism. Cool style of tripod. Right, instructions took a bit of reading, but I think I've got the gist of it now. I love the kind of, I don't know, rugged style of it. Black and the silver, a little bit sci-fi, All right, so I've got a pole. Now I need to do the table. Where's number 1? Table. Pretty nice. 2 and 3. All right, we got number 3. Oh, that's cool. So this actually kind of just slots into place because there are these raised beveled areas there, and they kind of like they don't really snap in, but they sit well on top of each other. Handy. Right, I'll need to do this bit on a flat surface. All right, sick. Now we've got a tray. What now? Foam back in the tray. Where did the foam go? Put onto the stand and rotate. Very good. And then I think everything else is optional, like straps to keep stuff attached to it. Like if you're using a projector that's like tilted, it's an adapter of some kind. Oh no, this is the power pack thing. All right, I'd say that was quite successful. Seems to be pretty stable as well. And then if you ever wanted to use it like a regular tripod, instead of putting that head on, at the very bottom, there's a regular like tripod head there. So you could screw that off and then put that on the top instead. Cool. I'm not sure if my laptop would actually fit on this though, but my Surface would. Actually, for measuring, I think it might just about fit. Should I try that now? Oh, I was wondering what this was. So it looks like a normal metal rod to start with, but it bends. Or I'm just that strong. So this is what you put your phone on. Or alternatively, this can be what the camera sits on. Yeah, laptop fits on there. Camera fits on this. Thing is though, to do that, I'll need to unplug the microphone. We'll give it a try though. Why is that lagging? Hello? Oh, now it's smooth. Testing. Testing. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, that seems right. Sorry. So maybe I should probably invest in like a wireless microphone to wear around the room if I'm getting a bit more spatial with things. And maybe I'll get another one of these cameras so I can keep one actually stuck in the corner where we were and have another one like this that can be moved around. Am I lagging again? Okay. I think that's a power thing, CPU throttling. So, I mean, there's power everywhere in the room, so that won't be a problem. All right, I just wanted to plug the laptop in and double check that was a CPU throttling from power issue. Seems to be true, because let's move again. So this was an excellent purchase. This stand, it does pretty much exactly what I wanted it to do. I didn't even know it would come with that little phone bendy pole thing. It's stable as hell. I mean, I can wobble it like that, but it's not like flexing or anything. This gives me about like 1.5 meters length of power to the current pack. So I will need to stay close to power, relatively close, but otherwise, really good. And that also means I can kind of make more use of the lights if I'm being a bit more spatial around the place. And how does this sound? Is this alright? This is just like a spare lapel mic I had laying around. I imagine if I do some kind of processing on it, it'd probably be pretty good. So yeah, maybe that's the plan. Wireless mic, maybe I can get slightly longer power, or play with the power saving options on the laptop, maybe to burn a bit more battery to keep the CPU more active if I need a bit more length. But I think it's just better keeping everything powered anyway. And then yeah, an extra camera, one of these for over there. And I think this is good. It gives us a bit more freedom. Got more stuff to unpack. Maybe I'll do that next time. I love this lighting. It's like afterglow in real life. I can also change the color temperature on all the lights, but I've got it balanced quite how I like it anyway. And just as a test, this is the Logitech Stream Cam that I'm using. And I've had it for years. It's just kind of been sitting in a box, but it's handling color values pretty good as well. All right, if you made it to the end, leave some kind of camera emoji in the comments so I can see which of you did actually make it this far. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you soon.